Oh, Alex's turn now. Oh, look at his face. He's going, no. Alex, you've done enough of these by now. You should be okay with me.
I was about to say, actually, you were reasonably quiet in that last session, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone put you on mute by mistake or something like that.
No, nobody put me out on mistake. I've been really good the last 8-9 episodes. I've kept my mouth shut. Maybe because I don't know what I'm talking about. But on this subject, I'm a carpenter by trade. Everybody knows that. But Alex, straight question. My favourite boiler was the Green Star boilers. You know that. I've got more in my houses. Yeah. And one of the things is that I've never had a problem with any of my Worcester Bosch boilers. And I'm not just saying that because you're sat there. And I'd bore you to tears. When me and you get on the phone, we talk about durability and quality of products. But I do like the look of this one. Yeah. I do like, it looks like a damn freaking phone.
Yeah, it's a big iPhone.
Yeah, look, I can dial.
It's like, you ever seen that ever seen that Channel 4 program Dom Jolly? Yeah. Reminds me.
But the one thing that the Green Star is, I'm going to ask you a question, and again, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, I have not spoken to Alex about the 4000. Alex and Anthony put the presentation together. Why have you swapped?
Well, I'll talk a bit about that through the presentation, but it's constant innovation, basically, in regards to some feedback from the trade, consumers, and market research that we've done. But I'll explain some of it if I can just I'll go through the presentation, and it might sort of explain some of the reasons why we've done it. So most people know me. My name's Alex Thomas. I'm Key Account Director for Worcester Bosch, and I'm responsible for the LNPG account. I'm happy to say that things have gone really well, and really do appreciate your business as well. And hopefully most of your members have had, an excellent view and experience with our products and services on backup service. So I'm just going to go through a number of things. Really just want to sort of give a very brief overview of Worcester's range and where it is in the marketplace. I'm really going to sort of go, the majority of the presentation is over the Green Star 4000, some of the reasons why we've changed and innovated and put some extra functionality on it. And then just going to finish off about sort of where is Worcester in regards to future innovation. You might have heard, and not on the press and the media, that there's banning of gas boilers, and all the media about fossil fuel burning products, and I want to just sort of clear up a few things on that as well. So hopefully, can you hear me okay? Is everyone hearing me okay? Am I coming through?
Yep.
So good.
Okay, I just want to check the internet connection. So this was our range about 18 months ago in regards to where the range was. The Worcester 2000 was fitted with an actual room stat and controller, because we were doing some measurement, some innovation in regards to third-party controls. We launched the Green Star 2000. Gosh, when did we do a presentation on that? About 6 months ago. I think it was during lockdown with the Green Star 2000. It's still on LNPG pricing, but that's the base model that we have, and I think it is gaining some popularity. However, the major model that was sold through LNPG and the contract market has been the Green Star I, and as we go through, you'll see that the 4000 is an immediate replacement of the Green Star I. You'll see that obviously the price is lower down the range and the feature level does increase. It also will increase with kilowatt output. So the Green Star 8000 Life and the Green Star 8000 Style go up to 50 kilowatts. So that those particular models will be more appropriate for larger HMOs or system boilers or regular boilers. You can see that the CDI Compact is stuck in the middle there, and there will be a next step change in the next couple of years to eventually replace that, coming out the 6,000 range. The CDI compact and SI compact are mainly used for new build, and they've got high efficiency on the SAP database in terms of energy efficiency. As I go through those ranges, there is appropriate guarantees depending on the model. So the Greenstar 2000 has a 5-year guarantee, 4007, CDI compact and SI compact 8, and the life and the style also 8. You can increase the guarantees if you use a Worcester filter as well. So there are options for that. So this is our latest next generation. Might explain some of the reasons for why Nick asked the question, but we haven't completely revolutionized the boiler. We've taken the best of what we had in the past, such as the core components, and improved it. So the best sort of way I can describe this particular boiler is we've taken the best bits from a lot of the stuff in our range. So the top half of the boiler, or the main combustion chamber, is the iCombi. The bottom half, the CDI compact, and then the actual interface, the software, we've improved with the top of the range of our appliances, which is the 8000. What we've taken into consideration is a lot of the factors on installation, so easier for your installers to install, easier to commission, easier to service, higher efficiency, and planet-friendly packages. So these have been an all big focus. We were sort of down marked on some independent surveys, including the Which Best Buy, where we've come on some of these elements, and we've utilised this opportunity by launching a boiler to address those issues. So certainly from an installer database and service engineer database, it should be favoured by the trade. So I just want to look at the evolution really. The Greenstar I Junior was the first condensing boiler in the contract market that we sold. And the SI, the Greenstar SI, we also sold within that period of time. We sold a hell of a lot of boilers within that period of time. And then the Energy Related Products Directive came in 2015, and we upgraded it to the Greenstar I, which you've seen previously. We've now moved on, kicked on a further step in terms of the Greenstar 4000 and taken this opportunity to upgrade the functionality of it. However, what is worthwhile noting, if you do have Greenstar I Juniors in your property, this is a really simple switch for installers. Installers will love replacing the I Juniors with the 4000 because it's far less work for them. It's the same flue, it's the same connections, it's in fact actually the same screw holes into the wall. It's exactly the same footprint. So we're hoping that now, if we base we've always based a 15-year life cycle on our boilers, that now possibly there will be some Greenstar I Juniors due for replacement that are 2005, 2006 models. And you can see here that there's a slight difference. Obviously, the design is we've looked at the design being had a bold move really. We've engineered in a lot of versatility for future proofing in terms of what will come on in the future in terms of software upgrades. We've improved energy efficiency improvements, serviceability, optimized the simple switch from our previous range boilers, and we've kept a lot of things that are the same. You'll notice that the outputs are exactly the same as what the predecessor was, apart from the 9 selling many of those, and plus this new boiler has a higher modulation range, so it's got a far better energy efficiency within the range. So you can see, obviously, we've taken care on the design. It still holds the 10-year guarantee on the heat exchanger. We've improved the heat exchanger as well on the energy efficiency. It's very quiet in operation. I'm not going to go through decibels because that'll annoy Anthony, but it is, we believe, quieter than the quiet mark. We've incorporated a quick tap function, so more properties throughout the UK will have a water meter, especially new builds. It's mandatory to have a water meter. So even my street, and I live in southwest London, 2 months ago, I had water meters been put in the street. So there's nothing more frustrating than running a tap for on your combi boiler and wasting all that water. So this has a function to switch on the tap for 3 seconds, turn it off, and then wait and turn the tap off within 30 seconds, and hot water will come through. So there's no wastage of that hot water coming through. It's also increased the domestic hot water efficiency, different languages available, and we've vastly improved the packaging. There's a big focus now on the environment. So we have to take into consideration our corporate social responsibility. So polystyrene used to be used in terms of the safety transport of the appliance, but now we've got rid of that within this particular range. We've done various drop testing and tests on transportation. So this is something that the installer or homeowner or landlord can recycle at source, rather than having to get a specialist, someone coming in or getting rid of polystyrene or non-recyclable items. The bag that all the instructions come in with is fully compostable as well. So these some of the things that we're focused on to make sure that, you know, things are better for the environment. So we've got a big responsibility for that. In terms of the specification, the installers will be delighted to hear that actually it's longer flue length. So it gives a lot more versatility. The iCombi had 4.6 meters flue length. This has 12 meters. So a lot of our competitors used it as an excuse against us and said, well, the Worcester can't fit that longer flue. But now we've got an option for that. As I mentioned, you know, familiar wall jig, exactly the same connections. Big modulation range, so 1 in 10, so it can modulate right down to 3 kilowatts and up to 30 kilowatts. The flow rates are a lot better. So for low pressure areas such as the cities, London, Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow, for example, there will be a lot more pressure on there. It will work better under lower pressure. And we've reduced some of the restrictions in regards to the reductions on flue bends for the versatility of the installer. However, it's slightly different to the old iJunior. So we've put in this simple switch flue accessory. So if you do come across those 4 million iJuniors or SIs, and you're replacing it with a 4000 and you're fluing out the side or vertically, this simple switch flue accessory will save your installer from having to cement over the flue hole and drill another flue hole. So this basically is something that for a short cost, I think it's about £20 or something like that, that we really would get, save a lot more sort of labour when they're replacing those boilers. As I said, we've improved a lot on the commissioning and servicing. There's a lot more functionality. Installers should like this a lot more. They can take the data from the interface and fill out the benchmark. Benchmark is used for getting building control, so that's a requirement for a new installation for that. So there's certain flow temperatures that you can get straight off the reading, which will save the installer taking a measurement cup out, doing it the old-fashioned way. Full text description, you can see there. You know, there's a lot of things that you can take, you can see from the appliance that is simple. It gives engineers component function test menus, so you can test whether the pump is working correctly. These are engineers settings, but at least they physically can show you as the landlord or to the consumer or the resident that this is working correctly, the fan is working correctly as well. So it's more of a confirmation check. One of the great points is that you can range rate these as well. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so my internet connection sometimes is a little bit out. So that basically what this does is this particular boiler, if you need a combination boiler and you've got a one bathroom property, let's say 3 beds, has only about 7 radiators, those 7 radiators may not require the full 24 kilowatts of the central heating output. So what this does is you can reduce the central heating output down to 15 kilowatts on the 30 kilowatt and down to 12.5 kilowatts on the 25 kilowatt combi, and that will save the resident money. So if you are using that in a HMO, then you will save emissions, because obviously all the costs are built in. But more importantly, it's better for the environment. But this gives the engineer, this is down to the installer, the commissioning engineer, to utilise this, to commission it correctly. So it's vital that hopefully we're getting the message out through the trade that they're utilising this, and they're saving homeowners, tenants, residents money on their fuel bill, but also this is something that will reduce emissions as well, which we all want to do. In terms of the controls, there's many options for the digital controls, mechanical controls, and there's a number of accessories as well that you can use. I think we've got on the cylinders through Johnny, through Wolseley. They're probably not widely known, but the great advantage of using a Worcester cylinder is that it reciprocates exactly the same guarantee of what the boiler is. So if you use a 18 kilowatt 4000 system boiler on a 7-year guarantee, the cylinder will also have that guarantee on ancillary items, i.e. the stat for the actual cylinder stat, that is a full 7-year guarantee. We have a 25-year guarantee on the actual shell of the cylinder, but it's more really about the components that carry forward, the things that are moving. Obviously, there's not a lot to move with a shell within the cylinder, so that gives a little bit more value to you as the landlord. The advantage on this as well is that you can see on the right there, there's a built-in timer key. This boiler can be activated with a timer control, and you can program the timer control in with just the key involved. You can also program in a service date for function. So you're, as a requirement of a landlord, you're required to service and maintain and have a full landlord gas safety record with that. And that can remind the resident to make sure that that service is put in place. There is further landlord reminders as well. So the engineers can set upon installation a 12-month or an 11-month boiler runtime to make sure that maintenance is now due, and that you're not going beyond your 12-month LGSR date. If you've got difficulty with access and residents letting you in, what we have also done is we've put in a function that can be utilised. And in Scotland, the regulations are different in terms of the access. So we've got two options. One is turn the boiler off. So for example, if it's coming up to 12 months, the boiler will turn off after 12 months from what you set in, and you'll be able, hopefully, the resident will call the landlord and get that landlord gas safety, let that engineer in to do all the checks. Alternatively, we've got the second option of reducing the domestic hot water temperature down to 35 degrees. So that would be lukewarm temperature, and that would hopefully encourage that resident to give access, unless they can live with 35 degrees or reduced. We think most residents will just feel as that it's a fault, and then they'll call up the landlord or the service provider, and they can come out and reset it and use it. But we do get requirements for service accommodation, landlords, social housing as well, where they really struggle to get access. And of course, the landlord is liable if there is a gas safety issue beyond that 12 months.
So Nick, I'm going to let you have this one.
Yeah. You're telling me that I can set the boiler for 12 months and it will turn off?
That is down to the commissioning engineer. So we've designed this in. So this is up to the landlord and the commissioning engineer. This is a decision that they have the ability to do that. You don't have to put it on. You don't have to reduce it. It's just there.
Yeah,
it is there for you, and that's the decision of the landlord or the service engineer.
Okay.
So it is a bit of controversy, but we have been asked to put this function in where you've got really bad tenants and they're not giving you access. And as a landlord, the restrictions are really tight. If there's a gas safety issue and someone dies, the landlord is liable for that. So you know, that's one of the reasons why. But it's a function. It's engineers' license basically to utilize that feature or not.
But it can only happen at 12 months.
No, you can set it to 11 months.
Yeah, 11 months. Okay, 11 or 12 months.
Whatever period of time you can program in. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you want to. Okay. Also, there's obviously some new accessories. Hopefully they should be coded, but there are some packs that are coming out quite well on the pricing side of things with controls. You know, and the comfort one, the radio frequency side of things. It has the landlord function as well, the service date reminder. Again, this all comes in with the guarantee of the boiler as well. So you get those guarantees as with the newly boiler that you installed. What I would say, and I know Richard is on, is that these have got to be registered at the same time of the boiler. So you will get the serial number of the filter, for example, and the serial number of the boiler in a document registered together. So we do have other products such as cylinders, heat pumps, and all the other things, but we only, if we're not aware of those being registered, and you can register controls with your guarantee, it's all got to be done at the same time. Otherwise, we're none the wiser if it's not registered, and we're not notified for that. Another great innovation, we think, is the intelligent filling system. So this is RAS approved, water approved. And this device, which is an extra sales accessory and can be chosen, you can just use a normal braided hose, is an automatic filling link. So it prevents boiler overfill, and it prevents under pressure. What we found is actually in a lot of non-boiler related issues, non-boiler component issues, a lot of the time that our engineers and the trade engineers get called out is because of repressurization. If there is no pressure in the boiler will lock out and turn off. It won't work. This device enables it to keep going, or at least going into limp mode. It also could potentially, if there's no water in the system, it goes down to 0. It could burn out the pump, which means another cost to replacing the pump. And this is about protecting, putting measures in to protect it. So you can see that the autofill within this particular boiler has a sensor on board. You'll see on normal boilers, there's normally a pressure gauge on the right or the left-hand side, a little capillary pressure gauge. This boiler has a pressure gauge, but it's behind the casing. So we've put in a sensor, and you can see there on the right-hand side where it is green, it's meant to be safe. Where it's yellow, it's in danger, really, and where it's in red, where it shouldn't be. It will operate down to 0.2 of a bar. However, this is really encouraging to make sure that residents, homeowners, landlords get those boilers up and running. So this will warn you, or you'll see it live via the sensor, whether it is in the right parameters or not. If it's in the red or in the yellow, you need to do something about it. Otherwise, in the next number of weeks, you could be potentially without heating and hot water. So this is really the first phase for preventative maintenance of where we see in the market and how this can be utilized. This has had amazing feedback from the trade, and you know, a lot of engineers don't like going back to jobs because it's cost them getting in the van where they've just got to fill up the pressure gauge, you know, and they won't charge the consumer for them, but actually they've got to go to the job, they've got to put petrol in the van. It might be completely out of the way. If installers are doing a job 50 miles away, I don't think that they would be too happy if they had to come back and just fill up repressurize the kit.
Yeah.
So this is really innovative and helpful, really. I'm just going to quickly mention the Bosch EG thermostat because this also can be used in conjunction with the intelligent filling link. So it will tell on your app whether there's low pressure, and it will send a link, or it'll have like a triangle with an exclamation mark saying you're low on pressure, and it's doing its job. But this is, you know, when you're out and about, if the pressure does go low, you know, you can make the correct measurements for it. And looking into the future, I just wanted to sort of let members know that there's been a lot of stuff in the press about banning gas boilers. There's been some inquiries on heat pumps, electric boilers, and other technology types that don't have gas. So we are pioneering a lot into future technology. The lead runner looks to be sort of hydrogen, because that is utilising the existing gas infrastructure. The UK government are looking to bring out the hydrogen strategy in the next 2 to 3 months, and we'll find out more on that. And we believe, and just to allay anyone's fears, we believe we're really on top of this, and to design into the future that hydrogen ready boilers or hydrogen boilers will be safer, arguably safer than today's boilers, because they don't, when you burn hydrogen, you don't produce carbon monoxide, which is they don't produce any carbon at all, including carbon dioxide. So it's better for the planet. And so I think there's some work that we need to do and get rid of this this rhetoric about Hindenburg and all the rest of it. Certainly from a design perspective, and hopefully we've gained the trust in our customers that this will be, and there's various projects ongoing at the moment. But we are launching heat pumps in August. So we'll be launching a monoblock heat pump, which isn't required to be refrigerant qualified. So I know that previously LMPG hasn't been able to use air-to-air heat pumps or air conditioning heat pumps because only a refrigerant engineer can purchase those. But these will be monoblock heat pumps, which will be out to gas safe engineers or whatever. I would encourage them to make sure that they go through the correct sizing and all due diligence for it, because heat pumps work on a lot low temperature, and for retrofit there's a lot of considerations to make. So really do show your due diligence with the installer. Officially, really, I would really recommend an MCS, a micro certification scheme registered installer. Unfortunately, there's only about 1,000 in the country at the moment, as opposed to 128,000 gas safe engineers. So there's a bit of a skill shortage and a demand shortage, but these will be launched in August. And that's it, guys. So really appreciate your time. Any questions?
Yeah. Wow. I like the boiler. I really do like that boiler. A question come up, I'll deal with that straight away, is why don't LMPG get 10-year, 12-year warranties? Yeah, like ideal. The reason why we don't get the 10-year warranty is to do with price. We're a contract division. Most contract division boilers only get 5 years. Alex gave us 7 years. It was 5. It increased to 7 years, and it's all to do with our price. Now, I'm not going to tell price, but if you want a 10-year one, I can tell you it's going to cost, that piece of kit for the boiler is about £950 to £1,000. Ours is a lot cheaper, and that's why we come up with the 7-year. Now, I got 9 of them, and this is a true story. A member rang me up and he said to me, Nick, why did you choose Worcester? I said, because great boiler and the service is really good. And he went, good enough for me. I put the phone down and I went, I need to ring him back. I rang him back, and this is a true story. And this happened just before Christmas. And he rang up, and I said, I lied to you. And he said, what'd you lie to me about? I said, I actually don't know what the Worcester Boss service is like. I said, I've got about 9. I've had 2, 3 of them for about 6, 7 years now. And he said, well, why don't you know? I said, I've never rang them. Worcester Boss are the only manufacturer out of my 20, I did have 30 houses, my 20 odd houses, I've never rang Worcester Boss. I've never had a breakdown, ever. That says everything to me.
So just on that, Nick,
for a long time,
is that that there are options out there for a longer guarantee. You might have seen them, some of them advertised out, but there's certain conditions. Some of them have to upgrade as well at a cost. But I think really once you look at the prices through LNPG, you can then evaluate whether, you know, because there's 2 schools of thought. What do you want? Do you want a really good price, you know, or do you want a longer term option? I think that we've got options for all of those. So if you upgrade to our life boiler, which is more expensive, and you fit a filter, you can get a 10-year guarantee. But through the LNPG, I'd weigh up the costs, look at the costs, because I think, you know, the people that are asking the question might not be truly done the analysis in regards to the value of a 5-year guarantee, 7-year guarantee, 8-year guarantee, 10-year guarantee, 12-year guarantee. So I'd love to get a bit more feedback from landlords in terms of what their thoughts are for investment and the value of a guarantee. The feedback that I get a lot of the time in the private landlord market is that price is key. So what do you want? Do you want you know, a well-priced quality product, or do you want to pay a little bit more for a longer guarantee?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody said to me, what boiler do you fit? And I'm not just saying it because you're here, Alex, I'd fit Worcester Bosch. And it really is a fit and forgets boiler. Now, yes, boilers do break down. Boilers do break down. I'm not saying that Worcester don't have breakdowns, but what I love that if there's an issue and it's because boilers only break down when it's cold. Yeah. And if we have a -10, boilers are going to break down. And the one thing is, we had a situation where we needed to get an engineer out the next day. I ring Alex arranged it, and bang, that boiler engineer went out the next day. So it's about us being supported by one of the top manufacturers in boilers. And I've got a Worcester in my own house. I've got them in my now rented houses. And as the boilers break down, if I've got a different Ideal boiler, I've had Ideal, Baxi, Valem. But if I have an Ideal boiler and it's 7 years old, I think I've got two. I don't even get them repaired. I just whip them out now and put a brand new one in, because I don't want the hassle of getting a phone call, yeah, Christmas Day or Boxing Day, and my boiler's packed up. And it always happens 2 days before Christmas. And then the plumber's got you, because what are you going to say? He can charge what he's like. Oh, I don't want to pay that price to get the boiler fixed. That's reality. When you've got several properties and you've got as many as I did, 20 odd houses, they're going to break down. And I honestly, I can say with the heart on my hand on my heart, sorry, that I now put Worcester Bosch in. It's just the way it is.
Nick, let's leave it there. That's 5 or 6 minutes on that question now, but we're covered.
I've been told off again.
Times.
Always get told off.
Alex, the Landlord function on the new 4000 series. We've got a question here. The Landlord function, can it be programmed at a later date should you require it, or does it have to be done on installation?
No, it can be programmed at a later date, but generally, if it is a tenanted property, you probably want to put it in at the installation side of things. But yeah, it can be adjusted at any time from the commissioning engineer.
And the same goes for the kilowatt limit that you mentioned. Is that a permanent, semi-permanent feature, or is that something that you can chop and change quite regularly?
It can change. It's just go into the settings, and you can change it. Is that something
that you can do as a user, or is it? Do you need an engineer?
Well, look, you know, it's in the. You've got to be gas safe qualified to operate a boiler. Now, we can't. If people do change settings.
So Alex, let's leave it there. If you've got to be gas safe, and if it's a dangerous thing to be doing, then let's say that leave it there. And you know, landlords can make up their own minds. But that's a very important point. So Americo's asked, I'm led to understand that low pressure is an indication of a leak somewhere in the system. If the feature is turn on of auto filling, it may be delaying the landlord to find the root cause of why pressure is dropping. So is that being considered in the design of the 4000?
Yeah, so it's got a minimum pressure, usually set within the parameters, and a minimal fill time. So what, you know, if you put a nail through a pipe, for example, it's going to recognize that and shut it off. What this device is it's a RAS approved double check valve. So we had to go through the water regulations to make sure that this particular product is safe for the market. So it's got a lot of fail safe design in it. But if there is a leak on the system, then it needs to be addressed. it's really designed for when, you know, in 9 months' time, when you're venting the radiators, that there is some pressure loss. So it's for incremental length over a long period of time. This isn't about for a short period of time where you're constantly getting a leak. That needs to be addressed from the engineer.
Don't forget, water's got oxygen. Water's got oxygen in it, and that's where you have to bleed radiators, and that's where that system comes in. The filling loop, yeah, sorry, the filler allows that what oxygen is in the water.
I did have an inquiry earlier this was in London, where the pressure in the day is so low they couldn't fill it to the required pressure. But what they did is they set the auto filling link and it filled it up at night when the pressure was higher. So it went up to 1.2 in the green. So that would save an engineer, you know, going in at 1 o'clock in the morning and trying to fill it up manually from a filling loop. So the technology is great, really, and hopefully we'll get some good feedback. We've upgraded the software. It has been quite sensitive in the past. This product has been out for 2 years, by the way, and it's been on the 8000 for 2 years. So it's
out for 2 years in continental Europe, presumably.
No, in the UK. In the UK.
Oh, in the UK.
Yeah, it's been available on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 final questions both from Julie, actually. Number 1 is, where do we find the prices? And the prices for B Modern and Worcester, including the new 4000 series, are all on the Wolseley page of LMPG's website. The second one is just a comparison between what boiler has been spec'd and one of Worcester's boilers. So I'll talk to you about that directly tomorrow, Julie, because I don't want to go too much into things outside of the 4000 series. But I just want to quickly cover something with B Modern as well, because Hugh got back to me to say, just to note, the answer given about the new multi-fuel and surround may be incorrect due to a minimum requirement of building regs, which is 30 centimeters in front of the stove. So we're going to get that clarified, and if we need to, then we'll put the clarification in the edit and certainly the comments for the live video as well. But apart from that, Nick, it's over to you.
No, just thank you very much, Alex and Steve. Steve and Johnny, are you there? Or you gone to it? They're bugging off to go and watch football. I told you. Johnny, yeah. You've turned your TV off now. They're watching football. Who's playing?
I've not got it on, I swear.
You lying sod.
I've taken my shirt off. I'm a bit warm in this.
Oh. He's been watching the football. Look, Johnny, thanks very much, mate. Yes.
No problem.
And I'm not apologising for beating you up. Yes. Steve. Standard. Yeah, standard. He says. Steve, thanks so much for launching the fireplaces with us. Really good.
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, can I interrupt? There was a question that Anthony might have missed about anything on off-grid gas, anything new for oil.
You're right, I did miss that, sorry.
Nothing new for oil at the moment. There is talk about biosynthetic oil on oil boilers, but it looks like the heat pumps might take some of the market, or even we're looking at other things such as electric boilers, air-to-air heat pumps as well, that might be a solution for that. So watch this space and keep in touch.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, that's right. Steve, thank you so much. And I'm so looking forward to the bathroom furniture that members have been wanting for about a year now, have been sort of coming to me all the time. And really thanks for that. Thanks for doing the presentation on fires today.
No problem.
Alex, once again, thank you so much for a great presentation on Worcester Boss. I am a Worcester Boss boiler fan. I just am. Okay, Anthony, I can't help keep talking about him because it's fit and forget. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. That's really all I've got to say. Who's on next week, Anthony?
Unconfirmed as of yet.
Oh, can't tell him. Can't tell him. Yeah, we can. Yeah, but we should be launching. I'm going to say it. We're nearly there, and that's why Anthony's kind of reluctant to say who it is. But we will be launching our tile business. Okay,
Pre-launching.
So we will be doing a presentation with them, hopefully next Wednesday. And what we will be doing, because football's on, and there's a lot of members that love football, we will be finished sharp at 8 o'clock for the Portugal-Germany game. All right. And that's it. That's all I've got to say.
Lovely. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks very much. Good
Thanks
night.
everyone for joining us tonight, and we'll
See you all soon.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.